Is the 4% rule too low? The answer, of course, is yes, because your old buddy Josh has told you for many years it is. But more and more people are starting to get onto it, and that's good. So we want to celebrate positivity here. We got my man, it's David Blanchett, because these stupid ads, I can only see his neck. So there's a neck of Blanchett. He's writing for thinkadvisor.com. He says, is the 4% rule too low? I've interviewed Blanchett about a year and a half ago or something like that. And I'm a fan of Blanchett. Good guy, a young guy, younger than your old buddy Josh, because I'm an old man river. Keep on rolling along. That's Marshall Tucker Band right there. I think it's Doug Ford is the singer. Oh, that guy freaking crushed. It is crushing. I think he's still around. Vietnam vet. I'm going down to the levee to get myself a feel. I'm going down on a Saturday like the black folks are supposed to do. I'm gonna find me a something. Let the battle boats come in. Oh man, that's from the album Greetings from South Carolina by Marshall Tucker. Every top to bottom, every freaking track in that album is fantastic. You gotta love you some Marshall Tucker Band and Doug Ford. I think it's Doug Ford. I'm almost positive his name. And the gents and Toy Caldwell. He's dead, but man, such a freaking crushing album. It's fantastic. Every day, I get closer to Jesus. That's all I can remember of that song off the top of my head. All right, so let's read what Blanchett here has to say. Oh, does that offend you? That I talk about Jesus and talk about Marshall Tucker Band? If loving the Lord is wrong, I don't want to be right. I don't want to be right. Hallelujah, hallelujah, baby. Our research finds that 61% of financial advisors most commonly use a 4% withdrawal rate for clients. And I hate to say that doesn't shock me, because many financial advisors just, I'm not going to say most, I'm not even going to say a lot, but I'll say many, more than one. They're just not students of the business, man. They're not. They just hear some rule and they say, okay, we're going to stick with that. And it drives me freaking batty. It drives me up the wall. All right, while client situations vary, I think 5% is a more realistic starting point for the average retiree. What? 5%, Blanchett? Are you crazy? The body of research suggests that this is a stupid I hate to say stupid, because I like the 4% rule. I like it. It's good, but it's too limiting. And Bill Bengen, who came up with the 4% rule, never said this is all you should do. He said, this is my history. I've run the numbers from 1926 to 1990, and it says that if you take more than 4% on a 60-40 stock to bond portfolio and adjust it for inflation, you could run out of money. That's what he said. He didn't say you shouldn't take more than 4%. He just said that's what his research found for that tiny little threshold of time there. Again, adjusted for inflation. Are we actually adjusting for inflation or spending? Where's the evidence of that? Anyway, let's see. But even here, the 4% rule doesn't. You have to have it. What if it's 4% on 100% bonds? It's not going to work. What if it's 4% on 100% stocks? It doesn't work. According to Bill Bengen, the 4% rule. It's a safe number that still resonates with advisors. Yeah, 100%. But because they don't pay attention to much of they just don't do much research. And you see right here, only, 20% use 5. That's more than I would have thought. 20% use 5. That's fantastic. The most advisable initial portfolio withdrawal rate for most retirees may not be 8%, but advisors should be aware that 4% may be too safe. Yep. While recommended spending level will vary by household, I believe we need to update our general baselines around spending levels, given that based on modeling tools that do not accurately capture retiree preferences and desires. What I'm saying. Well, he says I don't like this one. There are 3 primary downfalls to retirement spending rules of thumb. They ignore other income streams. Oh, come on, David. I mean, we're just saying, look, man, if I have all these other income streams and that's not enough to cover my expenses, I have a portfolio of X, how much can I take out on a regular basis? That's all that's saying. So if I need $100,000 and my other income streams are at $60,000, I need $40,000 a year. If I have $1 million, can I get that done? And the answer unequivocally is yes. If I have 800,000, can I get that done? Yeah, most likely. If I have 600,000, can I get that done? Well, 600,000 divided by 40,000, 40 divided by 600, that's 6.7% rate of distribution rate. Is that too high? Maybe. But certainly 40,000 on 800, what's that? 3.2 divided by 800? No, 40,000. Yeah, that's a 5%. I guess right. 40,000 divided by 800,000 is 5%. So you'd be like, that's fine. It's fine. Just recognize you might need to tighten your belt at some point. No big deal. But it's not like this when he says, because a lot of people get confused. 4%, but Social Security. Oh, stop. They don't acknowledge spending flexibility. I completely agree with that. Traditional models commonly don't include the desire to adjust spending during retirement, since withdrawals are assumed to change only by the rate of inflation. I completely agree with that. Retirees have the ability to adjust spending based on real life needs. But actually, but it says, since withdrawals are assumed to change only by the rate of inflation, again, that's not, I mean, even Blanchet's done research on this. It's just evidence just isn't there to say that. They inadvertently evaluate outcomes. Let's see. It's commonly referred to as a probability of success. Yeah, so if we have a lower probability of success, that's a higher probability of failure. It's just not this. It's just not true. In past research, I found using more realistic outcomes like goal completion, incorporating things like retirement spending flexibility, I think 5% is more realistic. I completely agree, 100%. And the adjustment by 4 to 5% might not sound like much, but it is a 25% increase in potential spending, 100%. Anyway, I completely agree. And then we go over here, my man. So I talked with Craig Israelson the other night, and we had a good live stream, one of the best live streams I've ever had in terms of total views. I mean, my goodness. And he had talked about his software that he has right here, Retirement Portfolio and Analyzer spreadsheet. And you can buy from him, and if you get it from him you say, I don't get paid from him. I just like Craig, and he's a good guy. He's got 9 grandchildren, another coming on, so he's crushing. And I'll link to 712portfolio.com. If you can buy his spreadsheet for 50% off the first year, it's fantastic. If you're wondering, and I saw a couple guys. So someone had mentioned that on Bogleheads they'd mentioned me and old Craig, and a couple of these guys like, oh, if he's got to throw a discount only, then the software isn't worth his weight. It's just what? Like, did you even watch? No, you're just like, oh, he's giving a discount because he's giving a discount for people who watch my videos. That's why. He's giving me a service. I mean, not me, you guys a service for being on my videos. And the guy's like on Boglehead's like, oh, well, if he's got to make a discount, it must be not worth it. I was like, oh, God, for the love of all that is good. You never heard of a buy one, get one free over at Publix there, guy? Oh, I'm not going to buy a BOGO because it must be crappy. It's so stupid. Some of those guys at Bogleheads, I'm just like, what? And he's like, what else are they saying? Negative. It's just like negative. I'm saying, you obviously did not watch. He goes, well, I can do a spreadsheet. You can't do what Craig Israelson's spreadsheet does. I mean, maybe you can. That's fine. Well, that's what he said. Well, if Craig is so altruistic, why does he give it away for free? I was like, oh, can you imagine having a client like that? Oh, Vanguard, you charge me next. Story I'll never forget when me and this guy, Rich, were doing seminars all up and down the East Coast, out to Pittsburgh, everywhere. I'll never forget, we had a guy come up to me one time, I think it was in New Jersey, and he was steaming mad. I said, I said, what's going on there? Captain Crunch, Captain Kirk? And he's like, yeah, I got a bone to pick with you, the prospectus. I said, what's your bone? He goes, you guys say, what do you say? It's $2.50 a year and fees on your S&P 500 on the prospectus, but there's actually an expense ratio on top of that. I said, well, the expense ratio is 4 basis points. The $250 a year is the maintenance fee of the thing. He goes, well, that's double billing. I was like, are you really kidding me right now? You're really that mad about $2.50 a year? It's stated explicitly in the prospectus, and then you have the expense ratio of like 10 basis points. Are we really having this conversation? And he was mad, and I'll never forget. Like, he wanted me to contact General Robles, the CEO. And he called me, not General Robles, this guy, like 2 weeks later, said, did you ever call General Robles? And I'd never returned his call. I said, dude, you're a guy who's looking for problems in the world. That's for sure. Don't be that guy. Anyway, so my man, and there's a lot of those guys at Bogleheads, I'm telling you right now. I like Bogleheads, but there's a lot of guys that do that because they're very cheap. Not frugal. I'm talking cheap. That's just a fact, a jack. Anyway, so Craig Israelson's thing here, and this isn't, I don't get paid. I don't care. You can do whatever you want. But you can see his retirement portfolio analyzer spreadsheet. Watch the video I did the live stream with old Craig on Monday. The thing just kicks ass and take names, man. Big fan of it. And another guy said, they never said, that's what it was. Craig never said how his portfolio is modeled. I said, I couldn't believe it. It's right here. He says, look at this. I was like, man, let's watch. There it is. There it is. Large cap, small cap, mid cap, non-U.S., emerging markets. Real estate, resources, commodities, bonds, tips, non-U.S. bonds, and cash. I was like, these guys are bogleheads. It's like he says it explicitly over and over and over again on the front page of his website. Anyway, so we know that 4% is too low. Again, and even Kitsis did an article probably 10, maybe, probably over 10 years ago. He says the average would have been like 6 or 6.5 or something like that even, if you're willing to take some risk. And I'm not saying go that high, but I think 5%, you're going to be fine. I can't guarantee you that because I'm not God. I don't know the future. But anyway, love to hear your thoughts. Sign up for Craig's spreadsheet if you want. I frankly don't care, but I think it's a good tool that you can use. And then watch the video we did. He'll show you, goes into it pretty heavily. I think it's good stuff. All right, love your thoughts. God bless. We'll see you.